Hey everybody, it's Force Friday. Quiet. And being a slight Star Wars fan, I thought I would pick on some low-hanging YouTube fruit and bag and rag on all the reasons why I hate The Last Jedi. So I know I'm a little late to the party. Movie came out a couple years ago. Hey, I didn't have a YouTube channel at that point in time. But from the very first time I saw that movie, I despised it. So I'm not jumping on the Last Jedi hate train. I've already been on that ride. I got off. I got a ticket to get back on. So, The Last Jedi, right? What the hell is wrong with... Now, there's many reasons to hate that movie. Don't get me wrong, right? Very little redeeming features. This is the only redeeming feature, if you ask me. But the reason the reason I dislike the movie so much is different from what other people will often say. And I've mentioned before, I'm kind of amateur screenwriter, so I may be huge Star Wars fan, but I kind of look at things maybe from a different perspective, like a storytelling reason because of that. So the number one reason why I hate The Last Jedi, and as soon as the movie ended, like I had this terrible taste, like literally as the credits are rolling, I'm like, huh? Seriously? The reason is the movie, story-wise, right, the structure, is just a circle. The damn movie goes nowhere, and no one ever talks about this on any YouTube shows I've seen, but the goddamn movie, the story structure is a friggin' circle, and what I mean is the movie ends where it begins, right? By the time the movie is over, hardly anything has changed, right? It's like 2 hours plus, isn't the movie? I've only seen it like 1.5 times. Like I can't. I try to watch it again. I just can't. The movie, the story is a circle, right? Why people don't. I don't get it, right? So right here we go. Very simple, right? But think about it, right? When the movie begins, you have the Resistance on the run from the First Order. Okay, Resistance is on the run, outnumbered and weak. You have Rey, still not a Jedi. Okay, Luke still is a non-factor. We really we know nothing about Luke in the very beginning of the movie. Okay, we know nothing about what's his name, the Sith dude, Snoke. What a weird name is that, right? We still know really very little about Snoke at all, and those were kind of like the big questions. Oh, and Rey's parents. We know nothing about Rey's parentage and where she comes from. We know very little about Rey, period, at the beginning of this movie, right? All kind of questions and things that were raised in The Force Awakens, which actually was a really good movie, and I kind of love that movie, right? Yes, I know it's a rehash. Who cares? I don't care, right? We live in a world of remakes and do-overs, so what Star Wars, fine. I'm fine with that. But that's where the movie ends, okay? Fast forward 2 hours to the end, and what happens at the end of the movie? The Resistance, still on the run, still outnumbered and in bad shape. Rey, still not a Jedi yet, right? She may have picked up a couple skills along the way, but she's really hasn't progressed that much from where she was in the beginning. Snoke, still know nothing about Snoke. Oh, because he's dead. Spoilers, okay? Rey's parents, still know nothing about her parents at all, right? Oh, they were junk. Really, do you believe that? Does anyone? No. I mean, that was red herring from the start, right? Still know nothing about her parents. And Luke, oh, here we go. There we go. Luke, also a non-factor, because now he's dead and doesn't exist, okay? The movie goes nowhere. It is a complete circle. Circle jerk? Sure, why not, right? The movie just treads water. It doesn't break any new ground. It really doesn't go anywhere. The only character who really has any change at all is Kylo Ren, okay? And not for great reasons. He gets a job promotion is kind of basically it, right? And he's a boring, stupid character. He's a caricature of what a bad guy should be in this movie, which is awful, right? Now, think back to like Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens, and God bless The Force Awakens, right? When that movie came out, okay, and it's cool to rag on that one now too a little bit, I guess. But when that movie came out, right, Star Wars was not in a great place. There was a lot of questions on what this new Disney movie was going to be like. And so, yeah, they played it safe, and it has a lot of similarities to Star Wars, which, again, is fine. But when that movie came out, like, the characters were likable. I remember reading and seeing a lot of people like, hey, I'm invested in Rey and Poe and Finn, and I want to see where these characters go now, right? The movie made them likable. Probably because they had a lot in common with other people that we knew, right? Rey was still mysterious enough and new enough, right? Like, there's a lot of questions raised about her, but like, well, we'll get answers later on. It was enough bait. It was enough of a tease to be interesting. The special effects, like the movie's beautiful. That scene with the X-Wings, like, going low over the water. Ooh, I still get chills from that, right? It's so cool looking, like. So the movie's kind of cool visually, right? And I did like the idea that like the Empire is kind of in tatters, the galaxy, the junk from all this war, years of civil war and strife has just kind of strewn around the galaxy. Like Jakku is such a great visual for like a post original trilogy film, right? You got literally the debris and remains of Star Destroyers and all that is like symbolically such a great place to start a movie, right? I wish more Jakku. Like you should go back there as often as you want, right? And it was just cool, right? It was not a bad movie. Last Jedi, what does it? It doesn't do anything. It's just a circle. We spend 20 minutes going to Casino World, which is just, again, shades of the prequels, which, oh my gosh, like you could see that coming a mile away. It adds nothing to the story. Mary Poppins, Leia is terrible. The second biggest thing, sorry. So first of all, the movie's a circle, okay? Terrible structure, goes nowhere. It's a storytelling waste of time, okay? The second big problem I have with this movie is it literally, and I don't know if many people get this, it literally takes place hours or a day or two, maybe, I think that's stretching it, right after The Force Awakens, right? And that doesn't work because the way it's written, so much, there's like tons of stuff has changed, but very little has changed, right? Like Starkiller Planet has been blown up, okay, well, the Resistance can celebrate. Oh, no, because the First Order's found their planet and has jumped there to wipe them out, right? That's kind of a cool idea. But the problem is because the movie wants to take place right after Force Awakens, it's like Force Awakens 1.5, right? It's just a continuation of that story, but Jedi carries very little over from Force Awakens in the first place, right? And these characters have like super short-term memories of what has happened literally in the last like 24 hours, right? It's like things never existed. For example, Poe, the whole movie, he's in the doghouse, right? For being some hothead, flyboy, jockey, seat jockey, whatever, fighter jockey, okay? Hello? The dude just saved everybody's ass by blowing up Starkiller Base literally like 24 hours ago. Why is Poe being treated like an idiot in this movie? He was like the biggest hero. He was like Luke from Star Wars, right? But he's in the doghouse all the time. No one gives him any credit for blowing it. Like, what have you done for me today, Poe? Right? Oh, you blew up a planet killing? Whatever. Talk to me when you kill a Star Destroyer. It's like, oh, come on. It doesn't make any sense. It's a small point, but the Maz Kanata, what the hell does she do with the big glasses, right? Okay, so no one ever talks about this, but you gotta, in the movie when they get like stuck, right? Oh, because like all of a sudden ships in Star Wars, we gotta worry about their gas mileage now and whatever. Oh, geez, this is gonna be a long video. They get stuck And so they gotta, oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, I know. We'll call a friend. We'll call Maz. Nobody knows her, right? Finn is the only it's Rose, Poe, and Finn who have this secret call in like the conference room, right? And the only one who knows who Maz is Finn, who met her just a day or two ago in the bar. And only fleetingly, because remember, he just leaves with those like space pirates or whatever and bails out of there, right? So he barely knows her. She's not even an acquaintance. She's like his waitress. And they call her up on the Star Wars Skype, right? And she's like, oh, hey, how's it going? Bam, bam, bam. She was like, Poe doesn't know who she is. She's never met her. How do you have her number? How are you calling her? Why would you even think to call her in the first place? Nobody knows who she is. The only one who would is Rey and Han Solo. Solo's dead and Rey's gone. So it's just like, what? Why? Oh, you gotta call the space hacker who isn't even in the movie, really? And it's just, the story is so weak. It's so weak, right? But no one ever did no one ever catch that? Like, there's no continuity in this movie, right? Getting back to Kylo Ren, sorry. He's interesting, kind of, but he changes, but he's not interesting. He's boring in this movie, right? He was cool in Force Awakens. Force Awakens, right? He's got like huge Vader envy, you know? For whatever reason, this guy like wants to follow in Darth Vader's footsteps, and he's a spoiled brat. You know, he's kind of like, he's really powerful, but he's got a temper, and he's totally played off as just spoiled kind of young brat, right? With this huge Darth Vader fetish. That's cool. That's kind of interesting, right? He wears the helmet for really no reason. He's got the voice modulator, which kind of sounds, you know, to sound like Darth Vader. Dresses in black like Vader. You know, he's got, you know, Snoke kind of tells him you'll never be like a Vader or something in the movie, and he gets like upset, right? That the temper, that's cool. Now he's just like at the very, you know, he's like, well, screw it. All my life I've wanted to be Darth Vader. Now, because Snoke chews me out once, like Snoke's never chewed him out before, right? I'm going to smash my helmet and burn everything to the ground. Maybe it's like the ultimate temper tantrum, right? But then anytime he sees a problem, he just yells, right? And just is like, blow this ship up. Go get that. And it's just like, he's so, I guess maybe when he tricks Snoke and like kills him like that, right? Like, okay, that probably is the only maybe interesting thing in the movie. But then he's just one-dimensional after that. Like, oh, okay, well, Kylo's king, and he's just gonna have, you know, he's overacting, yelling, anger thing. It's just, he's vanilla now, right? All that stuff that kind of made him cool, his hang-ups are kind of gone. He's got ultimate power. He's got the First Order at his beck and call. And it's like, okay, now what? The movie doesn't even, it's so bad. And there's a ton of other things that makes this movie useless. If it was like, and here's what I've always said, like, this is the kind of like story that normally would be written into like a book, right? Or they would adapt this into a comic book, or this might be like, you know, it would make a good video game. Like, oh, what happened after Starkiller? That's what Star Wars is always good at, right? Picking up right after incidents with small, inconsequential stories that have no effect on the bigger canon, but just kind of like, you know, where does this Snaggletooth guy come from? Dr. Ezra, what's his, you know, that's what Force Awakens is. It would be a good book. It would be a good standalone story. But is the middle movie in your trilogy? It's such a waste. Oh my gosh, right? The story, like I said, it goes nowhere. No characters really. It's just, oh my gosh. As a matter of fact, it doesn't add anything to the new it just takes stuff away. Luke dead, Snoke dead. Interesting Kylo, dead. Rey, what does she do in the movie? We still know nothing about it. Are you saving it all for Act 3? Okay, I guess, but you gotta give the audience a little bit, right? And people are like, oh, she trains in like 3 days, and she, it could have been like, angry, right? It's just so, and it's not a good movie. It's not. In the end, when Finn tries to kill him, love will say, right, this movie so much. Anyway, it's a stupid movie. Hopefully, Rise of Skywalker will change things. It cannot be worse. And again, everyone rags on this movie, but it deserves it because it's just, what were they thinking? As one YouTuber likes. It is such a waste. And to have your whole trilogy killed and neutered because of this, for a while people are like, there's a fan petition to remove this movie from canon, right? Or a lot of people are saying the third movie's got to be split into 2 to try and make up for that. Because again, I'll end on this point, okay? And I've also always said this from the start. My prediction is this, okay? Hear me out. If you're still with me, thank you. Like and subscribe. Ding. When all is said and done, you will be able to watch Force Awakens and just go straight to Rise of Skywalker, and the whole movie, the whole story will make perfect sense. You can just chop Last Jedi out of this trilogy, and everything will be fine and hunky-dory. You don't need to, just take out a third of your story, right? You don't need to watch this movie. Last Jedi adds nothing. Everything will still make sense. It won't. Story-wise, it will be fine, right? You can take Last Jedi out, smash it to pieces, and this whole, like Kylo does to his helmet, and the whole story will still make sense. It will still be fine. It'll probably make more sense than it did if you watched Last Jedi in the middle. That's how little and meaningless this thing is to the whole Star Wars story in general. And it is such a waste and such a disappointment. You only get a couple movies to turn things around, and they really did screw themselves with this, because it's your middle part of any story is the most important part, right? The first thing is just setup, and the last is just resolution. But all the interesting things, all the investments, right? All the gravitas, the meat of your story is in the middle, and they don't have that anymore, which is just so asinine. It doesn't even make sense, right? Anyway, I'm getting close to 20 minutes. I could ramble on for another 10 or 20 more easily, but I have stuff to do, so I know you do too. So I'll be going, and I will catch you later. And, hopefully the new one is good. All right. May the force be with you. Bye.